bum, ba, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday Mini Medicine Card Readings. Woohoo! Let's not show the top of the curtain, shall we? Come on. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm still kind of setting up a little bit. I had an interesting afternoon and then just spent a couple hours down at the river doing ceremony to kind of ground and center and woof that. So I just got back a couple minutes ago. So I'm just getting set up, getting ready. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just lighting my candle, lighting a little bit of sage to smudge my cards. And if you hear any crashes or anything in the background, that's just Kira, my cat, because she's watching her favorite channel on TV. They have a whole bunch of YouTube videos for cats that have squirrels and chipmunks and birds, and so if you hear a crash, it's just Kira attacking the TV and knocking things off of the shelf and stuff. So alrighty, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. If you have not been here before, my name is Patrick. I will be your friendly neighborhood shaman for the evening. And if you're new here, what we do, I have these nifty cards that I've had for a very long time. They're very well loved, if you could see them. They're wrinkled and dirty. The other day I was with a client and I had a cup of water next to the cards, and I got excited and boom, and I knocked the water over onto the card, so I had to dry each card individually and lay it out on my floor, but they survived. So anyway, so I'm just gonna bring me some sage over here, light it up a little bit. So the cards that I use are called medicine cards, created by Jamie Sams and David Carson, and each card has a different animal on it, different animal spirit guides, and so it's similar to a tarot reading, but I think it's better because I resonate with the animals more than like the archetypes and the arcana and all of that stuff, which is all, I'm not knocking it or anything. It's just, as a shaman, I've always been more connected to the animals, right? And so each animal has its own message, its own medicine. And so depending on who shows up when I pull cards, that is the message you get. So what we do is I pull 3 cards, and then the only thing you have to do is choose a number between 1 and 3. Or you can choose 2 numbers or all 3 numbers, because it is an abundant universe. There are no limits. So, all right. I'm like, keep these little nudges. Keep shuffling. So, I'm just gonna wait. I'm still a little bit shaky. I'm in this class with Lisa Williams, if you know who she is. She's a really well-known psychic medium. And so I'm in this class, this online class. It's about getting your psychic business going, which I am doing. This is part of it. And they called on me. I got to talk to Lisa Williams today. So they called on me. I was in the hot seat, and so they're asking me about my business and the homework assignment we had and everything. And it was amazing, and I got a little mini reading from Lisa Williams. Oh my God. So I'm still a little hyped up. That's why I went to the river for a couple of hours this afternoon to try to collect myself and ground. All right. All right. Let's see who shows up. Alrighty, so choose your numbers. 1, 2, or 3, or 1 and 2, or 1 and 3, or 2 and 3, or 1, 2, and 3. And we will get started here. Alright. So. Alright, if number 1 is the card you chose, back by popular demand, we have Jaguar. I always end up pausing now because I know the textbook, dictionary description of each animal's medicine and stuff, but it goes so far deeper than that. And I always kind of have to ask them what aspect of their medicine, what aspect of their message are they bringing forward. Ooh, okay. Jaguar, in a word, is about integrity. And she has been coming up a lot lately for people. And it's really about walking your talk. You have a personal medicine. You have a personal frequency, energy, whatever you want to call it, that you bring to this world. You are a gift to the world. And what Jaguar just showed me, I don't know how to describe it. It's like this liquid, like Jaguar is like a liquid fire. It's like flexible, and cats are so graceful. And I've talked about this before, where every hair on a cat's body is a whisker. That's how sensitive they are to their environment. It's almost like they're constantly making love to their environment. They're that connected, that sensitive. They know every little thing that's going on around them because they can feel it all. And they move with such grace, that kind of liquidy flow, and at the same time they're fiery, right? Especially like Jaguar living in the jungles. That heat, and I just keep seeing lava, like okay, so what she's telling me, like lava, like she's like the path of least resistance. Integrity, Jaguar is about integrity, and integrity is about being true to yourself. It's about being transparent, being authentic, like radically authentic, to the point where there's no pretenses, there's no facade. You are just who you are. Just like Jaguar. You meet Jaguar in the jungle, you have no questions about who she is and what's about to happen, right? No pretenses. And so it's about showing up in the world with your fiery self. You know, you don't ask. She's an apex predator. She is the queen of her jungle. So she doesn't ask permission. She doesn't have to justify herself to anybody. That's you. You are the apex predator of your world. You are the creator. You are the king or queen of your reality. And so it's like having that fiery presence and yet flowing through your life, the path of least resistance. Because when you're authentic, when you don't have all the mind games going on, you're not caught up in the game of what am I supposed to do? What are people expecting me to do? All of that, then there's no resistance. There's like, it takes us so much energy to put up shields and to put up facades and images to hide behind. It takes an incredible amount of energy, right? And when you don't have those, when you surrender into your greatness, into your fire, then you don't have to remember, oh God, what did I tell that group of people? What did I tell this group of people? What if those two groups of people talk? And, you don't, so when you're totally authentic, when you're totally yourself, walking in your integrity, there's nothing anybody can hold over you, because nothing can shame you. You don't have to remember what lies or stories or whatever you told people. There's no energy going to any of that. So you're just you. And so all that energy that you normally would pull around you to hide gets blown out into your world, right? And so let yourself shine. Like whenever I sign off from these videos, the last thing I tell you is go shining, because you are each a star. You are each ablaze with your passions, with your desires, with your talents, with those things that light you up. And that is what the world needs right now. The world needs to see you. The world needs to hear you roar. Okay? So, and it's really about pulling yourself out of, I keep talking about this, but I always feel like I'm stumbling with my words to get the concept across. It feels kind of clumsy, but I once journeyed to ask, like, what, I don't remember exactly what the question was, but it was basically about power and what is the healthy use of power? What's the healthy way to empower yourself? And what my guide showed me was, it was like 3 or 4 people, right? And there was this power struggle going on between all of them. It was like this lateral move. Some of them were trying to protect their power. Others were giving their power away to others. Others were trying to hold on and grab other people's power, because they felt like that's how they got power. You have to take power from someone else, and someone else has to be less than you in order for you to rise in the world, right? That is not the way it works. That is the dog-eat-dog world. That is the illusion of this plane. the duality of this world. And that's what keeps, not to get into like conspiracy theories or anything like that, but that's part of what keeps us at a lower vibration, thinking that we need other people to give us their power or to approve of us or give us permission, or we have to justify ourselves to others, which is giving our power away. And so in this journey that my guide showed me, all of a sudden one of the people, rather than the tug of war back and forth, this lateral move, trying to get power, two-dimensionally, all of a sudden one of those people, their power shot up. Kind of up and down. It's like connecting to Creator, connecting to Spirit, aligning with source energy, because that is where your power comes from. And when one person did that, all those others were still kind of swirling around them, but none of them were touching that person. And all of a sudden, one by one, these other people, all of a sudden their power went from lateral to it just kind of plugged in, boom, and pretty soon all the people in this vision were aligned, getting their power right from source, because that is the only source of your power. That is the only source of your energy. And it gets kind of cliched a little bit, but we're all connected. We're all part of the same energy. And so it really is a non-zero game. The old dog-eat-dog world, you have X equals Y, and then if you want to take part of Y over X, it's like X plus 2 equals Y minus 2 or whatever. So there's an equation, and one side has to go down for the other side to go up. That's what's happening in our world right now. That has been the standard for eons. That's the patriarchal way of seeing the world. And it's like, that pyramid, that hierarchy, where there's one on top, and underneath are all these others that are holding that one up, and each layer of the pyramid has less and less and less power. That's not healthy. And we can see that now as the world, as a lot of the structures are crumbling, and people are freaking out because all of a sudden they're realizing that power doesn't come from the top. And I just saw a meme or something about how through the pandemic we've found out how little we need like CEOs, because it's really the essential workers, the grocers and the mechanics and the doctors and nurses, etc., that through the patriarchal template of the universe, they're on the lowest on the totem pole, but they're the ones holding the world together, not these guys at the top. The only power these guys at the top have is the power that we're pushing up toward them. With Jaguar, like I said, she's the queen of her jungle, but her world is not a hierarchy. Her world is the circle of life, right? And so as she does better by taking care of herself and her well-being, that well-being spreads through the entire circle. And if that circle isn't healthy, she's not going to be healthy. It's a win-win situation, right? It reminds me of the famous Arthurian story of the Fisher King. I don't remember it word for word or anything like that, but Sir Percival, who was like one of the purest of the Knights of the Round Table, was out looking for the Grail as all the other knights were, and he came across this castle and this land that was just barren. And he met the king of this castle and this land. The land was just dry, and there was no life, no birds singing, the trees were dead. And so the king welcomed him into his castle, and as it turns out, I'm trying to think of how to shorten the story to the point, but in the Celtic worldview, and the Arthurian legends come from the Celtic tradition, there was a connection between the king and the land. They actually, when a king or a queen came to power, actually I don't know about that part. I've only heard the king, but when a king comes to power, they literally had a marriage of the king and the earth, because they realized that what I just said, that circle. And if the king is doing well, the earth is doing well. If the earth is doing well, the king is doing well. It's supposed to be a win-win. The king or queen is meant to govern, to see to the well-being of all beings in their realm. And in the story of the Fisher King, I don't remember what he did, but he did something that was unhealthy for the land. You know, in modern terms, you might think like he could have, maybe he cut down all the trees to sell them for whatever, you know, but it was basically the idea the king broke his promise to the land and took on the importance himself, and he became the important one at the top of the pyramid rather than the circle. And when he did that, he cut his roots off, and so the land died, and he was a wounded king. There was something, they talk about his thigh, something wrong with his thigh that happened as a result of the land going barren and stuff. But so the land went barren, and so did the king. The king had this wound that needed to be healed. And so basically what I'm getting at is there's no king without a realm. How do I put this? It's the circle of life, and if you lose your connection to all other living beings, if other beings are dying off, then you are unhealthy. You don't have that support either. And look at the earth right now as it's been ravaged, and taken resources which are worth nothing unless they're cut down or mined or whatever. They have no intrinsic value of their own, according to the people in power, right? And so we can see how unbalanced that is. We can see how unbalanced the earth is right now. It's getting better, and more people are waking up, and we're coming to that point of, basically it comes down to sovereignty, that you are the king or queen of your realm, and so is everybody else. It's a win-win. If you're doing well, everyone in your realm is doing well. If everyone in your realm is doing well, you're doing well. I don't know, does that make sense? But it's like stepping into your power, but not an egotistical power, realizing that your power comes from Creator, comes from source energy, as does everybody else's. So it's like stepping into your power not asking permission to be who you are, not asking for permission to fulfill your purpose here. Light up, flame on, shine, and then path of least resistance. If you're hitting resistance, if there's people that are resisting, it's just flow like that lava. It takes the least resistance, like a river. It's like like Taoism, the watercourse way. Yeah, that's really interesting. I've never I had that river of fire idea, and it's I've seen pictures of somewhere of cats in their natural states, solid and liquid. If you've ever seen the pictures of the cats like crawling into boxes or into jars, it's like they really do. They're like liquid. It's like be like water. So don't be afraid to roar. You are perfect as you are. That doesn't mean you can't change and grow and evolve. But as you are right now, there is nothing needing for you. You are here, everything you are, outside of all the expectations, all the education that has told you to be one thing or another. Who you are, your loves, your passions, your desires, your dreams, that is who you are. And you would not have those things if the world didn't need those things. So the world needs more of us to step into our power, flame on, and to light your world. And I'm not saying that if you do that, everyone's going to love you and fall at your feet. There's going to be people who hate you because of it. Whether it's jealousy or they still believe in the power struggle and that their power, like someone who refuses to kneel at their feet is automatically their enemy or something. But realizing that your power comes from source, and those people that want you to bow for them, you know, they are no more powerful than you are. They are no less powerful than you are. But you are, you know, and I keep talking about connecting to source as if it's something up there somewhere. But this is your source right here. Your heart is source energy. Your heart is what connects you to source. And it's like, if you think about it like a wormhole, right? It's like, boom, step into your heart, boom, and you're at source. There's no space, there's no time. So this is your authority. And like I said, no one in the world is more powerful than you. No one is less powerful than you. We're meant to connect to source power. That is our compass, that is our guide, that is our authority. And when everybody does that, there's room for everybody's true selves. Some people don't have to dim their light for other people to shine. We all need to shine our light. That's how we heal the world. Okay? And we have another cat up here, so I'm trying to be careful not to... Well, they're very similar, so we'll get to that in a minute. So that's Jaguar. Number 1. Number 2. If 2 is your card, we have Turtle. Turtle. Turtle is... Basically, Turtle is the presence of Mother Earth. There's so many stories about how the earth is either resting on the back of a turtle, or like North America is referred to as Turtle Island. I think it's North America. It might be all the Americas. I'm not sure on that. But, you know, there's stories about how the land is turtle, is in the back of a turtle. And there's this wonderful story, again, of how Sky Woman fell from her realm. She fell through a hole in the clouds, or a hole in the sky, and up in the Star Nation, in the sky realm, there was a tree that blossomed into every possible plant there is. And as she was falling through, she reached for that tree and tried to catch herself, but the branch she grabbed broke, and so she fell through this hole in the sky, down to the earth, down toward the earth, which at the time there was no land. It was just water. And so she's falling, and a flock of geese, was it geese? I think it was geese, came up and caught her, and Turtle rose out of the water and allowed, like, the geese delivered her to the back of Turtle. And so she had some place to stand, some place to sit, some place to rest. And then there's a number of animals that tried to dive to the bottom of the ocean to get mud to create earth so that she could live on the ground. And so after a number of different animals tried and didn't make it, Muskrat was the one who finally made it down, got some mud, and he was so dedicated in this mission that he knew he wasn't going to survive. He knew he had just enough air to get down there and not enough to come back, but he still went and got to the bottom of the ocean, and it took a long time, so that Sky Woman and all the other animals are sitting there, where is he, where is he? Finally they saw him surface, and they're like, yay, until they realized that he had died. And they rolled him over, and in his paws was a clump of mud. And so Sky Woman was able to take that mud and spread it out over the turtle's back. And that mud was so fertile, she was able to take that branch that fell with her, and she planted it in the dirt on Turtle's back. And from that plant, like I said, the tree that it came from had within it every plant that there possibly could be. And so from that branch, all the plants that possibly could be germinated and spread across Turtle's back, and it became the world. So Turtle is about groundedness, about the earth, about being grounded. The other thing with Turtle, when Turtle comes up, it's a sign of being home no matter where you are. You know that old phrase of wherever you go, there you are, right? So because Turtle has her shell and she can tuck into it, she's protected, and that's her home. So whether she's in the water, whether she's up on land, whatever environment she finds herself in, she's always home. So it's about this presence, knowing, again, like from Jaguar, your heart is your authority. Your heart is your home. So no matter what environment, what realm you find yourself in, you have everything you need. You're already home because you've got your heart. And because of that, you can navigate the oceans. You can walk on solid land. And because you can tuck into the shell at any moment, you can go anywhere you want, because in a moment's notice, boom, you're safe. There's nothing that can get you. So no matter where you are. And so this gives us the chance to Um, you know, water represents emotions, right? And so it's that topsy-turvy, all the currents and the waves that can kind of toss us and turn us and sweep us away. But turtle doesn't get caught. Turtle is able to swim and navigate through that because turtle is present. Not trying to figure out where she's going, or what's over here, or oh my God, that storm is swirling. If the storm is swirling, she just goes deeper, where it's calmer, where it's more peaceful. And that's a big part of her medicine as well. It's like, if there's a storm on the surface, keep going deeper and deeper and deeper until you find peace. We're always looking for peace outside ourselves. We're always waiting for the world to become peaceful so that we can become peaceful. But there is no situation that you can't drop in to the peace within you, inner peace. That's the name of the game, right? Like, this whole spiritual journey is about going inward, and who you are, again, is source energy. And so within you is that peace. There is a part of you that is immortal, that cannot be killed or destroyed, that no matter what's going on around you can have that presence of love and peace. That's our essence. That's who we are. So that's our default, you know. And so, like turtle, swim down deeper, swim where it's peaceful. And the other thing that turtle helps with in that same vein is that if we're not tossed by the currents, if we're not being swept away somewhere and having to walk, you know, trying to get home, trying to get to safety, then we can plumb the depths of emotion and find things that are good for us, healthy for us, nurturing for us at the bottom of the ocean or lake. My owl skull just fell over. It's not real. It's a replica, but it's one of my guides. So apparently that was a really good point, because he was like, yes! So owl, I have a great horned owl that is one of my guides, and he's my guide that helps me with teaching, which this kind of is a teaching thing. So I have him sitting right here to remind me. And so you don't have to be afraid of your emotions. You can navigate your emotions if you're present, breathe. You know, that's one thing that's good about meditation. You get that practice of what it feels like to be at peace, no matter what's swirling around you. You know, be the eye of the storm. And then you can navigate down to the bottom of the lake or the river or the ocean and find treasure there, because you're not being swept back and forth by the waves or the sea or whatever. So go deep. Run silent, run deep. Okay? But be present. Again, it always comes back to the heart. That piece of your heart is its own protection. Again, kind of like I was saying with Jaguar, about, you know, shining, let your fire blaze. That fire, that who you are, how do I put it? The authentic you, the essential you, that part of you beneath the illusions, beneath the images, the innocence and the purity of who you are is its own protection. Turtle doesn't have to go find a home. Turtle grows her own home. It's part of who she is. And so by surrendering into that piece of who you are, that love and light that you are, that is its own protection. Just like Jaguar blazing that light, you know, when you're radiating like a star, you're raising your frequency, you're blazing outward, there's nothing that can come in at you. So, okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, if 3 was your card, we got another cat, Mountain Lion. Mountain Lion, very similar to Jaguar. In fact, for a lot, like, Mountain Lion has the largest, at least when I used to work at the Cougar Mountain Zoo near here, so I had like this thing about cougars, mountain lions that I memorized, and one of the things, if it's still true, if I'm remembering it correctly, mountain lion has the largest area habitat. They started like from the Arctic all the way down to the tip of South America. They lived through the Americas, the entire place. There wasn't any place in the Americas you could go where there weren't mountain lions. So that's one of the things that mountain lions medicine is about territory, about boundaries. You know, one mountain lion territory could be like 30 miles diameter, and they just but they patrol the outsides. You know, cats always tend to walk around, and they like kind of patrol the edges of their territory. So you can have a number of mountain lions in an area because their territories only overlap in certain places. But that's what, like, look at, like, she's defending her territory. It's like, roar! Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to use your voice, to express your feelings in order to draw lines, to draw territory, to draw boundaries. Because it's the boundaries, you know, mountain lion is still a cat. You know, you think about, where's Kira? My own little cat, my own little lap leopard. They're fierce, but they're soft and cuddly. And the mountain lion is a cat. They're soft and cuddly. They have teeth and claws, but it's those teeth and claws that allow them to be soft and cuddly. It's that boundary, and they're clear about their boundaries, right? And so don't be people. So I was raised in Minnesota, where nice is the thing to be. And that, I mean, it's not necessarily bad, but that results in a lot of repressed emotions. There's a lot of boundaries that don't exist or get crossed because you're too nice. You don't want to offend anybody. Don't be afraid to show your fangs. Don't be afraid to roar. Because realistically, in the animal kingdom, the show of claws and teeth and stuff is a communication to avoid violence and conflict. If they're hissing and they're baring their teeth, it's like, okay, back off. You're crossing a line. Don't come any further or your dinner, right? So don't be afraid to show your claws. Throw nice out. You can it's like, it's not an either or, it's a both and. You can have strict boundaries, a strict territory, and have a dedication to yourself and what you need, the soft inside, and it's the claws and the teeth that maintain that space where you can be in your integrity, right? Integrity requires boundaries. Compassion and service without boundaries is like self-annihilation. There's no self left. You just get spread so thin that there's nothing left of you, right? So for the sake of the world, for the sake of the people that you are trying to help, don't be nice. I mean, be kind. Be pleasant. Look at them, do the namaste. The divine in me sees the divine in you. Just don't cross this line, right? And so it's really getting to know yourself. The other thing that fits with this, mountain lion represents leadership, which is what I was kind of saying with jaguar, because true leaders do not create followers. That, again, is the hierarchy. Oh, the leader up here, we have to do everything we can to placate that tip of the pyramid because they have all the power. It's like, no. Those leaders create followers and yes men and all of that. But a true leader creates other leaders because, again, like I said with Jaguar, the heart is your authority. That is your leadership. And so if you are following your heart, you can't do anything wrong. If something is for your betterment, it automatically is for the betterment of everybody around you because we're all connected. It's a win-win situation. Your betterment cannot be to the detriment of someone else. So trust your heart, trust your feelings. When you feel like, no, that's too much, I can't do that, learn how to say no. Learn how to say, I can't do that right now. If someone asks you for something and you're like, God, I'm so tired, I'm like at the edge of my rope, I really need to regroup, I really need to sleep, say no. Because in the class I was in today with Lisa Williams, her assistant, or I'm not sure what his title is, but mentioned that if you let people cross your boundaries, they're no longer boundaries. Then it's a toll road, and you're the one who pays the toll. You have to have your integrity and to know what your needs are. Like I said, if you need to take care of yourself, if you're like worn really thin, you have no spoons left, no energy to do something, then say no. Because even if you said yes and tried to help that person, it really wouldn't be true help. Then you're getting into that lateral tug of war of power. You're giving your power away to someone else. You're paying the toll rather than drawing the boundary. Because if you were the right person to help that person, the timing would be right. You would have all the energy you needed to do that. You would have the inspiration to fulfill that thing, whatever it is. But if you don't have that, you don't feel that inspiration to do it. If you're doing it out of guilt, that is the wrong reason. If you're doing it out of obligation, that is the wrong reason. If your heart isn't in it, then it's a no. Because if it was meant to be a yes, your heart would be in it. And if your heart's not in it, then you aren't the person meant to help that other person. There is someone else who will be fulfilled by stepping into that role to help that other person. By saying no, taking care of yourself, that person goes to someone else and it's even a better fit. If you say yes, then ultimately you're blocking someone else's fulfillment because they were meant to help this person. And it would have been a win-win-win situation. Does that make sense? So be a leader. If your guidance is coming from your heart, if your heart is your authority, then your work, that it's not like it's like that old thought that if there were no rules and regulations, everybody would be killing and raping and pillaging and blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what happens. We are a communal animal. Goodness, compassion, and love for our neighbor is inborn. It's part of who we are. It gets taught out of us because of that hierarchy and the patriarchy. And we think we have to taking care of ourselves is selfish because everyone else suffers, or that we have to suffer for everyone else to gain. That is that is BS on a stick. If you are being drained, if you feel, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're wilting and feel drained after helping someone, then it was not the right thing to do. And maybe that person needed a no so that they could find their own volition, their own inner wisdom, their own leadership to take their own steps toward the solution of whatever that was. So, and when you're listening to your heart as your authority, our hearts are what connects us to Creator again, which I keep saying over and over, but it's true. And if you're living from your heart, then your guidance is automatically in harmony. Your guidance is coming straight from Creator. And so nothing you do can be to the detriment of others. And if everyone else is living from their heart, their own leadership, I'm always get afraid people get tired of these analogies I have, but I keep bringing them up. It's like we're all part of an orchestra. You know, our lives are our instruments. Everybody's instrument is unique and different, has a different tone, has different octaves it plays in, but we all have the same conductor. So when we're listening to our hearts, we're listening to that one conductor. And so if you're listening to your heart, you're watching that conductor. That conductor is telling you what to do, when to do it. You know, it's your intuition telling you to, yes, go this way, or no, don't go that way. But then everyone who is listening to that, paying attention to that conductor, we're all playing in harmony. That's where you get these huge, wonderful orchestras and overtures and beautiful music. And, you know, a friend said one time that it stuck with me, if we're all singing the same note, we can't sing in harmony. Harmony comes when people are playing the different notes, different sounds, different instruments. And that's what makes up the diversity and the beauty of the world. It's diversity, it's the uniqueness. Your uniqueness is a treasure that the world needs to see. So don't deny the world that treasure by doing things that you think you should, or doing things that people guilt you into, or whatever. Your heart is your authority. Your heart will never steer you wrong. Always follow your heart, okay? So, yay! We did it in under an hour. So, that is the 3. So again, if number 1 was your card, you got Jaguar. Number 2 was Turtle. Number 3 was Mountain Lion. So, if you came in late or anything, I will post this to my Facebook page and also to my YouTube channel, my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel, so you can rewatch it. And rewatching it is there. It's just as vital when you watch it again as if you're watching this live. So the energy is still there, and even, you know, further on in the week, if you need a little more guidance, choose a different number, come back and watch the video and see what that guidance is. See if that guidance fits in with where you are and what you need to know. So that's that. And if you really enjoyed these, you know, think about coming to me for a personal reading. You get 5 or more cards to yourself, and it's all focused. This, I think of this as kind of that newspaper horoscope kind of a little more generalized. And if you get a personal reading, it's like all focused on you, and the cards play off of each other. There's stories that come up between the cards and how they balance each other. And you know, that's what I'm here for. Is I'm here as a guide and a support system for you, especially in these times, the pandemic, when things are different. They've never been like this before. So think about, if you need guidance, it is my deepest joy and honor to help others see their light. My job is to empower you, to help you find that power connected to Great Spirit. So check out my website at perchingwolfstudios.net to see how you can sign up for readings or other shamanic services I offer, like different, like soul retrievals and power animal retrievals. Hi Feather, yeah, I actually I do trades. This is my full-time job, so I do appreciate financial support, but I also I've done readings for well, I did a reading for a friend and she paid me with badger paws. So trade is a possibility. So definitely. So if you don't feel like you have the money to do so, we can figure something out. The importance is that you heal, that you find your power. That's what I'm most concerned about. So check out my website. If there's anything I can do to help and support you, this is my day job. So check out my website, check out my YouTube video. I've got a couple of blogs that's all in the notes underneath this video. I'm also a cartoonist. You can check out my comic blog and all of that. So it's just, I'm so appreciative that the people that come every week, or that have been coming. I've been doing this for like over a year now. And so I know there's people that have followed me that entire time. I know there's other people that come in and go. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. If you enjoyed it, invite your friends next week. I hope to see you again next week. Also on Wednesdays, I do another live video. If you weren't aware, I do a sacred pipe ceremony where I just basically create sacred space for people to come, to connect to spirit, to offer their prayers and intentions in a safe and sacred space. So you join me Wednesday night at 7 for that. Otherwise, I hope to see you again next Monday night at 7:30 here for another Monday mini medicine card reading. Woohoo! So, was that it? I think that was it. So, thank you again for coming. I so appreciate your support. I so appreciate your presence. This is one of the highlights of my week that I always look forward to, and I have you to thank for that. So thank you so much. Know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope to see you soon. Go shining. Flame on! All right, we'll see you later. Thank you guys. Bye.